the Washington Redskins. They still the Redskins.
I know. Just like the Wizards are still the Bullets to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they talking about the football team might remain the name.
What? The Washington football team?
Yeah.
That's just him thumbing his nose at the NFL.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Man. He like, if we can't be the Redskins, we ain't gonna be nothing.
Pretty much. That's how it goes.
Well, it may bring you guys a better international audience because, you know, they'd be like, oh, the football team, like, you know, like
It's
the real football.
The football team. No.
How long till they start that? Till they start saying the football team for y'all?
Listen, you should hear the radio stations here. People claim they keep slipping and saying the name.
I'll admit I do. Like, even on the show, I'll be like, yeah, the Redskins. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like,
no. If you're not here, of course you know.
Right, but they say it every day. Yeah, they should be past that.
I don't think the basketball team should be allowed to be called the Wizards.
What do you think they should be called then?
You know, the Wizards, that reminds me of the Imperial Wizards. I see Travis over there smiling. Why are you smiling, Travis?
Just leave that boy alone, coach. You better stop.
I just know how good the show's going to be.
He said he's smiling because he know how good the show going to be, coach. That's why. That's a good reason to smile.
I hear you.
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and Jay, they coming through. Straight, no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we're done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey y'all, let's get it poppin'.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got to get Irv in there somehow. I know that's right.
Same thing.
Welcome to
my
Straight
dues,
from
man.
the Hip. I'm your host, Coach Gerald Boo Mitchell, coming to you live from the Imperial Palace of Black Mania. Ain't no Wizards up here, though. Tell you that right now. Ain't no Wizards up here. Here with my co-host, Mr. Travis. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, guys. Hope everyone's doing good over here.
Travis over in Loganville, Georgia.
Tequila.
And we have Big Irv. What's up, Big Irv? All the way from Washington, D.C.
What's going on, fellas?
And once again, Jason is here. He's just not, you just can't see him right now. But as it is on this show, he's handling everything behind the scenes. And we'll pop him in a time or two to get his intake on a couple things. So you'll see some of him as well. What's going on, Tom? Good to see you. Hey, Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler always got to come out here and take care of Travis and make sure he's watching me so I won't be mean to Travis.
Yeah.
Mr. Butler thinks if he shows up early, I won't be mean to his boy.
Exactly.
So I know how that is. Folks, we are going to start the show off on what has been some breaking news, I guess, for maybe a half a week now. I won't say it's been a whole week, but probably half of the week, about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has been pretty much accused of all kind of crimes against humanity. It's just been crazy, the stuff that's been coming out of Houston, Texas, about Deshaun Watson now. How many years has Deshaun Watson been in the league, or Travis? How many years he been in there?
Probably
It's what, 6, 7 years now.
No.
I think 6, 7 years, somewhere around there. I was gonna say 7. But for all of a sudden now, everybody and his brother is accusing him of some kind of sexual misconduct. I think there's like 7 women or so that are talking about like 13 different cases of sexual misconduct. And it always kind of seems weird to me that somebody's going to say it happened twice. well, why didn't you stop after the first time? So we're going to get in that a little bit. But before we get into that, Irv, give me your take on what you feel about what's going on with Deshaun Watson.
I just think it's strange and I think it's weird that the second he's ready to get out of Houston, everything starts blowing up. Now, me personally, I grew up around women. Jason knows me very well. Like my mom's was all in my life, my god sisters, everybody. So when it comes to the women, these are very serious situations. So in my opinion, if this is something that happened to me at all, I would want somebody to bring it to me. But I understand how it's very hard for women to come forward with things like this. But I know they're holding back when it happened and all these forms of information. But for all these women to come out all at once when he's ready to leave Houston, it doesn't seem right. And I really hope to the bottom of my heart that it's not a cry wolf situation.
Oh, definitely. I hope it's definitely not that by the women. I really, really hope that. Travis, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the more and more women that are coming forward, I hate to say, but it's probably more and more likely true, unfortunately. And it just takes one, right? Like, and I'm not saying he's guilty. We're not saying that at all, right? But you never know in terms of, some of these women may never wanted to talk about whatever the incident or the situation that had happened ever again. And now that, one or two of the women had come forward and they said, I'm going to let this be known, it's probably giving them more strength and power and say, hey, I'm not alone in this, so I'm going to let my voice be heard. So I think that's probably why we're getting, all of this happening at the same time, right? And they always do say it just takes one, right? And once one comes out, you typically do get a few more because you got other individuals, not just pointing out women, but men or women, and it can happen to both, that they may not feel comfortable coming out and saying, or talking about it. And it just takes one or two to say, hey, this happened, and they're going to feel more comfortable talking about it because then they know that they're not alone. So I hate to say, it's true because we don't know, right? We're not going to say that here. But the more and more evidence, piling up, it doesn't look good for him. But once one or two come out, a lot of times there's more, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's more people to come out later on.
Good evening, Ms. Ham. How you doing? It's good to see you and have you on the show. Here's my take on it, and I'm gonna be a little bit more personal about this because I guess maybe I don't know about you guys. I don't know, if you guys have ever had the pleasure of meeting Deshaun Watson. Looks like we lost Irv, Jason. I don't know if you can see that, but we lost his picture. I've actually met Deshaun Watson all the way back when he was in high school. He actually came to the factory a couple of times and worked out. I can't remember the guy's name that worked at the Wrigley's chewing gum factory up there, the plant that they have up there in Gainesville. But his son trained with me, and he brought Deshaun with him a couple of times. I mean, one of the nicest and most well-mannered kids I've ever met. And it's very difficult for me to think that the young man that I met and that I knew at the time was or is the person that I'm hearing about now. So that's very disturbing to me to think that, and frankly, it's very hard for me to believe that could even happen. Very respectful young man, yes sir, no sir kid, all those kind of things, and to think that he went from that to being this quote unquote serial monster that everybody's trying to make him out to be is very strange to me. Now, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I am a big time, almost a chauvinist, if you will, when it comes to the whole women thing. I don't believe in disrespecting a woman in any way, shape, or form. That's the way my mother raised me, and I don't do that at all. So, like I said, if it is true, then I will be the biggest enemy of Deshaun Watson. But I'm just telling you this: as it stands right now, I am standing firmly with Deshaun Watson. And I can tell you right now, I talked to several NFL players. I won't give any names today, and most of the guys that I talked to, multiple teams around the NFL. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Houston, which of course is his team, Atlanta. A lot of people I talk to around the league are saying that they don't believe this about Deshaun Watson. Some of them know him, some of them don't know him. But it just seems like the fact that he was making such a stand to get out of Houston, and the guys from Houston, were basically saying he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. We're going to find a way to keep him. David Culley talked to him, tried to talk him in the stand, all that. And now all of a sudden this stuff starts coming up. And I'm going to tell you this. I remember, you guys might be too young to remember this, Michael Irvin one time. Michael Irvin was accused of sexually assaulting a woman. And all Michael Irvin said was, listen, I'm telling you guys, I don't have anything to worry about. And when this is all said and done, you're going to find out that she's lying. And it's not true. Well, when they did get it, when it was all said and done, just like he said, they decided that they found out that Michael Irvin was innocent. And Michael Irvin's thing to the press was, hey, that same energy that y'all went after me when y'all thought that this was true, I want you to use that same energy. Give me that same energy now when you report that it wasn't true and that it isn't true. Because the bottom line is, and Michael Irvin's right, guys like Deshaun get hurt in this either way. Because now, if nothing else, they're going to say, hey, always remember about Deshaun when those women were saying something, blah, 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 blah. And now that's going to be with him forever. Did Deshaun Watson ever get in trouble? Well, you remember when they had that big scandal down there about him and those massage women? Even if it's not true, because they're going to say, oh, well, they said it wasn't true because he paid them off or he did it. People be making all kind of reasons. Even if they came out tomorrow and say, you know what, that was a bunch of caca, it wasn't true, they say, yeah, Deshaun Watson probably paid them off because you know good and well with that many women, just like Travis just said a few minutes ago, oh, well, with that many women, you got to believe some of it's got to be true, blah, 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 blah. And your image is tarnished forever.
Yep.
Forever. Even if they start talking about Hall of Fame, because everybody knows it's an unwritten rule. If you got stuff like that, that might keep you from getting in the Hall. So I am pissed about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's terrible. I think it's very suspicious that it's happening at the time that it's happening. And I hope that somebody in the league or whatever will get to the bottom of this and find out what's really going on. Because I just don't believe, I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I might be totally wrong, and I'll come back on here and apologize, and I'll say I was wrong. But right now, I'm not taking the bait. I'm just not going to do it because something just doesn't seem right to me, and I'm not feeling it. So, guys, Irv, you got anything else to say?
I don't. You guys pretty much hit it on the nose. It's just insane. Like the timing is not making the situation.
I agree. Travis, you got anything else?
No, I do want to kind of ask just a real quick question on a current quarterback in the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger went through something a little bit similar to this, right? Not to this extent, but
3 times.
Right, and not to say that he got a pass because he has not gotten a pass. I'm not saying he has. But I almost think that because that was so long ago, it's kind of faded in a lot of people's memories, right? Because that was something that happened when he was an earlier NFL quarterback. Now, the more avid fan and the person that really knows the NFL and keeps up with stuff, they're going to remember that. But the average fan may not remember what happened with Roethlisberger. And I'm wondering with Watson, with him being so young, right? He's still a very young player, a young man. He could theoretically play I know 15 to 20 years, right? 20 maybe stretching it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, could you guys see a situation where if this does happen, he still plays where, 10, 15 years down the line, maybe it just kind of gets, to the back burner like what happened with Big Ben?
It depends. I mean, and then here's the thing about Big Ben. If you're a fan of Big Ben, you've already blown that off. You're like, that was nothing. If you don't like Big Ben like me, you remember it all the time. You're like, I remember how Big Ben, they blew that under the table. Just act like it didn't even happen. And everybody knows he was with that woman up there, and he messed with that waitress up there, blah, 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 blah. So I think it's the same with Deshaun Watson. If you're a fan, like I am, you're already trying to dismiss it like, man, I'm not believing this. I can't believe they're doing this to him, et cetera, et cetera. If you're not a fan and you're mad at him because he's getting ready to leave Houston, you're like, good for him. I'm glad that happened. And said I knew he couldn't be Mr. Goody Two Shoes like he made himself out to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it just depends on which side of the fence you're on, whether you like him or you don't like him. But the bottom line is that just like with Ben, it never goes away. I mean, the fact that you're still sitting here talking about it, and that was many years ago with Ben, once it happens, you're going to bring it up no matter what, whether it was true, not true, whatever. I'm sitting here talking about Michael Irvin, and that was many years ago that happened. But the bottom line is it happened. It was proven to be not true, but nonetheless, it is still in the records or in the record of Michael Irvin that it happened, that he was at least accused of that. So like I said, it's very difficult to get that out of the minds of people once you get it in there. So if Deshaun Watson signs a gazillion-dollar contract with Miami next week or whatever and goes down there and plays, he's still going to be tarnished. And so for some people, especially if this is being generated by somebody and whatnot, mission accomplished because they're happy. They're just happy that he at least has that on his record now. So that's it. All right, guys. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. The next topic we're going to talk about is NCAA basketball, the March Madness and all this stuff going on. I'm just going to give my little 2-minute version, and then I'm going to pass it to you guys. This is some bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. It's one thing to have, a couple upsets here and there and that kind of thing. And every year, you have a 15 beat a 2, something like that. You let one team slip on a banana peel and be the talk of the town. Everybody's the talk of the town. I mean, this is like the worst basketball I've ever seen. I'm going to tell you right now, shame on North Carolina. I tried to watch North Carolina play the other day when they got knocked out. It's not Mr. Butler. It ain't madness, it's sadness. This is March sadness. It ain't no March Madness. But I'm just trying to tell you, watching that North Carolina game and the way their bigs were being just pushed off the block, I mean, that was the worst North Carolina team I've ever seen. And I think they lost. It's not only that the favorites are losing, they're losing by like 30 points. I mean, who is responsible for ranking these teams? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is some of the worst matchmaking and all these things are wrong. I mean, who put this together as far as the ranking system? I mean, has he been fired yet? Because if not, he needs to be. This is the worst in history. Now, when you look at the women, whoever's doing the women's side, they said there was not one upset the first week, or the first day, I'm sorry, the first round.
There was.
First round, they did have an upset in the first round?
They had like
I thought they said they didn't have one.
2 or 3, yeah.
Okay, I'll even take 2 or 3. But god dang, look at this mess we got on the men's side. I mean, right now we got Oral Roberts playing damn, I don't even know who's left in the damn tournament. This is ridiculous. The Big Ten has one team left. Thank God it's Michigan, because I picked Michigan on my bracket thing to win the whole damn thing. but it ain't looking good right now. But anyway, I just think it's terrible, and I can't watch it. I'm not watching this bullshit anymore. I'm done with it. So, Irv, you laughing? Tell me what you got, Irv.
I enjoy this every year. Just because there's so much talk being smacked throughout the year about what team has the best chance and this and this. And I'm just looking at it like, okay, it just takes one good team to beat the team that's expected to win. And the one thing that I tell everybody every year when they make their brackets, if they have a guy that's a lottery pick and he's the only NBA player on their team, don't even pick him to go to the Sweet 16 because it ain't gonna happen. We've seen it with Cade Cunningham. Carolina has a big guy that's supposed to go lottery pick, and you brought it up. He just got manhandled in the post. I lost it. Lost my train. Who lost the other day? Kansas got a lottery player, and they got destroyed.
They got destroyed. I mean, like by 30 points.
The worst loss in Kansas basketball history in the NCAA tournament.
It was bad. But then same situation like Ohio won first weekend, and they got a point guard that came out of nowhere that nobody knew about, and he's going to be a lottery pick. But like they lost second round.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing, Irv. First of all, we were in trouble with this tournament anyway. You know why? You didn't have Duke in there. Everybody knows I'm a Dookie. Didn't have Duke in there, you already in trouble as far as the tournament is concerned. It ain't going to be that good because the Dookies ain't in it. Coach K ain't in it. I wasn't even in it to begin with anyway. But then everybody was talking about Gonzaga. You know, you're talking about Illinois was looking good. All these teams around the country, they were talking about all these nobodies, used to be nobodies. Now they act like all of a sudden, you know, it's going to be a rising. Man, Illinois didn't even make it to the damn Sweet 16. I mean, Travis, talk to me.
And it's funny.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I did read that this is the first time, I believe I read that this was the first time in NCAA history that 4 double-digit seeds won in the first round, I think is what I read. So, and we still got multiple double-digit teams, going to the Sweet 16. So it's been a real crazy tournament. The conference that just looks absolutely terrible, like you said, Coach, it's the Big Ten. I'm ride or die on the Big Ten. I watch almost every single Big Ten basketball game. Part of that is because I'm a big Purdue fan, and don't even get me started on their crappy game that they had on, Friday night. But I thought, Big Ten was not going to roll through the NCAA tournament, but I thought for sure they were going to have 4 or 5 teams at least in the Sweet 16, if not the Elite 8, because I thought they were that strong. And boy, have they let me down. So it's been a crazy year. I think a lot of this has to do with one, of course, matchups, right? That's a big thing is just the matchups. But I think a lot of a second reason we need to discuss is none of these teams played that much of a non-conference schedule. So they just kind of beat up on each other in their conference. And these conferences that we thought might have been good obviously weren't, but there was no way of telling because they didn't have non-conference games. And a lot of the teams that we see are winning are teams that have upperclassmen because they've played with each other. A lot of the Cade Cunninghams, the freshman kid from Kansas, they're out because they probably haven't had the experience and the practice time that a lot of these teams with upperclassmen, like you see with the mid-majors, the juniors and the seniors that stick around because they don't have anywhere else to go. They're showing out well because they're used to playing with each other.
Well, some of this I'm gonna blame on the NCAA because when you have these teams like the Big Ten and they just play each other, and that's all they can play is play each other. It's just like football. They suck at football too. So when you just playing each other, you ain't getting no real competition. And then when you play outside of the Big Ten, then you have to actually play some real competition and you get your butt kicked. I was so glad, and I know y'all gonna laugh or get on me about this and chastise me for this. Iowa. I was so tired of hearing Iowa talk about how good they're supposed to be. They got one big white boy on the team. and he's good. Luca Garza, whatever his name is or whatever. He's the best player. I'm so tired of hearing about it. He's the best player ever at Iowa and this, that, and the other. And they were talking about how Iowa's going to make this big run. And I'm like, dude, you got one big dude on the team. That's it. He's your whole team. And they act like they were going to be able to take that one team or that one dude. And when I saw Baylor play the other night, I'm telling you right now, Baylor's probably my pick to win it. I know my bracket says Michigan. Them jokers from Baylor were balling. I mean, them jokers were shooting. I'm telling you another one. Alabama. Alabama was lighting it up. Alabama had like their ninth player come off the bench and score like 27, shooting nothing but threes. I mean, crazy. So, like I said, I mean, for the Big Ten and Travis talking about, Purdue and this, that, and the other. I don't know. I'm just not with it. But tell me who y'all picks are going forward.
Go ahead, Irv.
All right, so in my bracket, I had Michigan too, but I had to go back to the regular season and looking at the beginning of this tournament, I might have to choose Alabama. Alabama is playing out of their mind right now, but I've seen it through the season, and I kind of let it slide because they went against my team, the Terps, and I thought the Terps was going up, and they went down hard. So it's I got Alabama, man, and that's and I and
What
I know
about give me a dark horse, Earl?
Alabama was my dark horse, but I got a feeling Villanova might do something.
Okay.
Really?
Why? Tell me why Villanova's going to do something.
Now, it sucks because every team that I'm going to name got somebody from the DC area. So sorry. Like you brought up Lou Garza, he's from DC. Sorry, like he's a good guy.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, he went to a high school up the street from me. So Villanova, I think they got the backcourt to do some damage.
Okay.
They got a guy that went to a high school up the street from me. That he's one of the top assist turnover ratio guys. So
You there, Irv? Did we lose you? All right, Travis, come in. Travis, tell me who you got.
Okay, so I'll give you a favorite who I like probably to win the tournament, and that's, of course, just Gonzaga. They just look dominant. They're killing everyone. Undefeated, all season. The only undefeated team in NCAA this year. They're killing people. I really, really like them. They got a guy, Drew Tilly. I don't know. Tilly. I don't know. He had 30 points and 13 rebounds last game against Oklahoma. So, and he's probably not even the best player. They got another guy, their point guard, Scruggs, who is, I believe, a sophomore or a freshman, and he's going to be a lottery pick. So they just got dudes all over the court. I think they're the favorite. But a sleeper team, I'll give you guys is, I'm just going to say, watch out for Syracuse, because that 2-3 zone that they do gives every team in the NCAA nightmares. There's a reason they always seem to make the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Buddy Boeheim, who's the coach's son, is shooting 57% from three-pointers. He's averaging 27.5 points per game in the 2 games in the NCAA tournament. And that 2-3 zone defense is no joke and gives every team a nightmare. So if you haven't come up to see it, it gives everyone problems. I think if they can get past Houston, which is their Sweet 16 game, they're going to the Final Four, because the other teams of Oregon State or Loyola, which is in their bracket, aren't going to have enough time to prepare for that 2-3 zone. So if they beat Houston, they're going to the Final Four.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. I bet they don't make it to the Final Four. I bet you they don't. I watched some of that game the other night. Buddy Bear, he ain't been able to keep doing that. And I hope they have to play Baylor anywhere along the way. Baylor's going to beat the brakes off of them.
Well, they would play Baylor in the Final Four.
Huh?
They'd play Baylor in the Final Four.
They ain't going to make it to the Final Four, so they won't play Baylor. So they about to be knocked out in the next round. Mr. Butler said, did you know that March Madness is only used for men's NCAA basketball? The women are not allowed to use that term. They go by NCAA women's tournament. So women can't be March Madness. And I think that a story came out about some other thing that the women can't have. And they can't use the name March Madness, and they also can't use the men's facilities. There's a big story about how the women are treated a little bit differently from the way that the men are treated at this tournament. Jay, show these pictures of the workout room for the women. Okay, on the top right there, you see the workout room that the men are allowed to use. On the bottom down there, you see what the women are allowed to use down there are some dumbbells and a ping pong table that they threw in a room. On the top up there, it looks like Lifetime. All right, Jay, next photo. Look at the difference here between what the men get for food and what the women get for food. The women looks like it's a little TV dinner that somebody just pulled the foil off of. Somebody just pulled a little plastic strip off of or whatever. And the men down there got a buffet dinner that they're able to go through. They're sitting on look like it's 3 tables long with stuff on it down there. Give me that next slide, Jay. What else you got? Oh, look at the goodies that they give. I mean, this is the discrepancies between what the women get, which is on the right side of the screen, and what the men get on the left side of the screen. The men get a whole bed full of stuff. I mean, you see the women got maybe 10 different little pieces there. The men got so much stuff, it's enough for them to give to their girlfriends and little brothers and sisters back home and everybody. Dude, it is crazy the difference between what the men and the women get in this tournament. And I just think that's, man, I'm telling you, when I saw that thing about that little ping pong table, I said, that's got to be fake news. Somebody just made that up. Because, I mean, I would have rather had nothing in that room. But why you put a ping pong table in there? Who can get a workout with a damn ping pong table? I understand the dumbbells. What the hell you got a ping pong table in there for? What is that supposed to be? I think that's terrible. But it is what it is. Staying with the NCAA tournament, let's talk about some disparaging comments that came out for Ohio State players and Illinois players by the fans who were upset with the early exits. There were actually some very racist comments that came out. I think the first one was at Ohio State. Jay, if you can put that clip up there from the young man from Ohio State. I might have got it backwards, Jay, whichever one you want to put up there. Here it is, Jason booting it up for us. Right there. Don't ever show your face at Ohio State. We hate you. I hope you die. I really do. That is what somebody sent to him on social media for being a player who got an early exit in the NCAA tournament. Now, understand, he's not the only person on that team, but that's what he got. That's what somebody sent to him. And then the young man from Illinois got some racist comments as well. And here it is right here. Go back home, you bum. The user wrote on one of his old Instagram photos. Effing lost to Loyola. Go sit your monkey ass on the couch. Yeah, we talking about for losing a basketball game. This is the way that those young men are being treated. Here's my whole thing about that, and I can tell you this from playing major college football. And I didn't get it near as bad at Vanderbilt. And I will say at Vanderbilt, very loyal fans, and they loved me, win, lose, or draw, and I never got a whole lot of stuff like that. But I know some guys at other places who received it really, really bad. Irv, give me your comments on how you feel about this.
It's disrespectful to the game. As a former basketball player, we used to deal with stuff like this before the game, not after. but it's by the fans of the other team.
Right.
Like it's insane. Like I understand everybody wants to win, everybody wants a championship or be able to see a championship, but this is people's lives we talk about here. Like for a game, like it's just insane, man.
I agree, Travis.
Absolutely, it's horrible. It's disrespectful to the players. You know, it's not like they weren't trying, right? It's not like they didn't try. I don't know if you guys noticed when Jason pulled up the clip with EJ Liddell, it showed his stats on the bottom. He had 29 points and 13 rebounds, so he had a double-double. Like it's not like the guy got 1 point. Like
still
he was
lost.
the leading scorer on the team. And Kofi Coburn, I didn't see his stats on the sheet, but I'm assuming he probably had at least double-digit points. Like, what are you guys doing? They lost a basketball game. And I know, like myself, I get angry and you know pissed off when my team loses. I was pissed off Friday night when Purdue lost, but I would have never thought to go track these guys down to say anything remotely like that because that's just stupid. What are you gaining from that, right? Like, do you feel better about yourself? Do you feel better that you had a comment even though these people don't even know you? Like, you can't go back and change it. You can't go back and do anything about it. And the players can't either. You know they didn't want to lose. It's not that they're like, oh, yeah, let's just go ahead and lose and be done with the season. Of course not. Nobody does that. No major college athlete is playing for a national championship just decides I'm just going to lose the game. So it's just stupid.
Well, let me say this. This is my thing. What's scary to me is those same fans, the very same ones that wrote that to them, would have been writing praises to them if they had won.
Absolutely.
And that's what's really scary to me, in that you just don't ever know who you're dealing with. And Herb, I'm gonna let you close it out because being a former basketball player, I'm sure you've experienced that something too about how they love you when you're winning, but they hate you when you're losing.
Absolutely. I had a little bit of it in high school and in college. And I hate bringing up Jason, but he was there. But when I was in high school, you know, we lost a championship game. First thing you know, everybody's looking at you on the court, talk about, yeah, we got to watch you on the outside because you lost the championship. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, it was a close game. We lost close, and it was a good game. Did you enjoy yourself? That's the only thing in my mindset. And then I watched one of my former colleagues, one of my former players, my teammates in college. He had a 40-point game, and we lost. And the first thing somebody came up to him was like, that had to be the worst game you ever played. And I'm just looking at him like, did we watch the same game?
Well, that's because
Like,
that's because before Herb, he probably had a 60-point game.
and I think that year he was CIAA Player of the Year. And I'm just thinking to myself, are you serious?
That's terrible. I'm gonna say it again. Understand, always remember, the term fan stands for fanatic. And I've never really heard the word fanatic in a good way. Because if you're a fanatic about anything, it normally goes, the next term is obsession. Like you're obsessed with something or whatever. And being a fanatic and being obsessed is never good in any way, shape, or form. What you got, Jay?
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, what is the line for you? I know me and you, Coach, have always talked about the line. What is the line between the fan/fanatic, where like that, obviously what they said went over the line, but where is the line? Because I think that's the issue, because each person has a different line. Where is the line at for you guys?
My line for me is when it gets to be derogatory. Like if you're doing anything derogatory, like all this, take your monkey ass back and all that kind of stuff, and I hope you die, all that's derogatory. Now, I can see, you know, bomb, this, that, the other, whatever. Hey, that you get that all the time. Or if you say, hey, you know, you suck tonight, you know, that's the worst game you ever played, all that's fine. But when you get in the whole derogatory thing, or, you know, start talking about somebody's family, you know, if maybe if you were a better father to your, wait a minute, no, they ain't gonna do that. That's what brought those jokes out of stands, the NBA, that when they had that big disaster, and people talking about their kids and this and that and other. All that is way crossing the line. If you want to talk about my skill set and the fact that I had a bad night or whatever, okay, I deserve that. But once you get derogatory, I'm done. What you got, Herb?
I totally agree. I tell everybody the same thing. Whatever goes on in that 3-hour period, you can bring it up as much as you want. That just lets me know that you're making me better. But as soon as you start going towards the fans, other people in the stands, and myself, now that's when I can't agree. Like if you're talking to a fan about their personal stuff that has nothing to do with the game, as far as like their life, fighting, anything like that, that's too much.
I agree. Travis.
No, I'm right there with you. Yeah. And I know I've done it, right? When the Bengals had Marvin Lewis and we would lose those damn playoff games, I would, there were times I got on Facebook, but I was just going, "Hey Bengals, you need to fire Marvin Lewis," right? Like that was just my opinion, but I wasn't going to go any farther than that. I'm not sitting there telling them to, do awful things to him. It's an opinion in terms of I don't think he should be, the head coach, anything like that. But in terms, never going up to, threats, bringing somebody's family into it, anything like that. Yeah, totally agree. Don't you guys don't need to be doing that, especially for college kids, right? They're not even getting paid.
Hey, Travis, how many games y'all won since Marvin Lewis been fired?
Don't talk about the Bengals.
Not many. Travis, look now, Travis, you brought up family. So I'm going to bring up family because we family right here. This family you talking to. Travis, when you were upset with Marvin Lewis, did you use any racial slurs against Marvin?
No. Come on.
Travis, you can tell me. I ain't gonna hold it.
Travis, take it to the grave, Travis. Take it to the grave.
You know I don't like Marvin Lewis. Travis, you didn't say one time, I hope they get his black ass out of there. You never said that.
No.
Take it to the grave, Travis.
Travis, if you did, just be like, hey, my best friend's black. He told me he was fine. He told me he was fine.
Take it to the grave, Travis.
I have it on recording.
Anything like that.
Just put up your phone like I got it on recording. He said I can say it.
Take it to the grave.
Travis, I'm gonna tell you this. I said it many times. They need to get his black ass out of there.
Nope, not me.
So you might not have said it, Travis. I damn sure said it for you. Anyway, let's move on. LeBron James. The Lakers are on a downslide right now.
Hey, Coach, you want to talk about Izzo real quick?
Oh, yeah, my bad. Let's get on Tom Izzo. Go ahead, Jason, and give it to me. Jason's going to boot it up here for us, I believe.
While he's booting it up, I'll kind of just do a quick recap for anyone that didn't see. While the Michigan State game was going on at halftime, Michigan State was walking into the court, and as you can see, they're winning, and he grabs his player right here, gives him a little bit of a tug, and he's trying to say something to him. So, and then chases him, and the player kind of gets up in his face. So I don't know what was said or what had happened, but there was definitely a confrontation going into the locker room after halftime.
Irv, you're the basketball guy. I'm gonna let you give me your opinion first.
So the issue came up when I was watching the game. The player did a bad switch. He didn't have to switch on the guy off the screen because it was a light screen. So coach just wanted to bring it to his attention that, let it go. It's a mistake that happened. You're still a young player. And in the heat of the battle, player just got emotional. So that's when the original camera caught Coach Izzo pushing him to the locker room, but didn't see him, politely talking to him, said, we'll discuss it when we get behind closed doors.
Right.
But, stuff like that happens all the time. Most of the time it's between players, but when it comes up to a coach, they want to blow it up and make it worse than what it actually is.
So you give it a no big deal, Irv?
Not at all.
Okay. Here's my thing.
First of all, I've heard some worse stories about Coach K in the locker room now.
I hear you, and I'm with you. This is my thing.
But it's always behind closed doors.
My whole thing is, Irv, I think that it would be a no big deal, but I want to say that this has happened before with Tom Izzo. I mean, I think that one time before Tom Izzo had an incident very similar to this that happened, right on national TV during a game or whatever. And so I think that that's maybe why everybody's kind of bringing light to this and maybe blowing it up a little bit more because it seems to keep happening to him. Not to mention that Michigan State has kind of lost a little bit of its luster lately. And I think people are kind of like me, like it might be time for a new coach up there in at Michigan State. And I think that that's why people are kind of making a big thing out of this because when it happened before, I remember they were already calling then that, the game has passed him up and he doesn't understand today's players. And that's why they had this altercation, if you will, blah, 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 blah. And now to see it happen again, and it's been a number of years since that happened. But I think it's just kind of, going back to the fact, is he outdated? It has Tom Izzo kind of, outlived his welcome in Ann Arbor or wherever they are in Michigan. What you got, Travis?
Yeah, I think this is a non-issue. Does he technically grab him on the arm? Yeah, but he's trying to talk to him, right? He's trying to coach him up. You don't know what's being said, right? But he's, the player's walking away from him. Don't walk away from the coach. Like, take 2 seconds he's probably trying to teach him something. And, the player's walking away. And obviously the player's, a little, ticked off and PO'd about probably, running the defensive play wrong and giving up the bucket. I get that, but I didn't see anything of this. We've seen this multiple times from multiple basketball coaches before. This is something that every once in a while you see, but I don't think it's much of it. And I'm sure we all saw the next day, multiple former and current Michigan State players all came out and said, Tom Izzo's the greatest coach that I've ever played for. Like, don't read anything into that. So
right.
We all know in a case like this, just like we've seen with Deshaun Watson, what's going on with him. If something was there and there was smoke where there's fire, people would be coming out and being like, he did the same thing to me, or I never liked playing for him, or this, that, and the other, and we haven't heard a peep out of this. And
yeah, kind of like they're doing to Deshaun Watson right now, just like you just said. Doing all them girls coming out the woodwork now. Oh, back in high school, he did this. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember at the prom, he tried to do something to me. Like you said, they coming out the damn woodwork. What you got, Shay?
I just want to kind of throw it in. I mean, I respect y'all, but y'all know it's a different athlete. It's a different kind of situation now with these kids.
I agree.
That guy's he's a grown man. Like, I know we want to be like, oh, that kid. He's a grown man. And one, you don't embarrass a grown man on national TV. So when you ran out on the court and was getting at him, okay, cool. Once you realize this grown-ass man was emotional enough to be like, I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say, I'm going to take my ass to the locker room. As the more grown-ass man is the coach, you got to let it ride. And once you get in the back, then you can fire off. Like, handle that right there. But you can't, in this age, you can't do that to these kids now because it's a different era now. We didn't know, like, you can't be grabbing people, even by the jersey, by the arm. You just can't do it no more. And especially in that moment when he's trying to remove himself from you, because let's keep it honest, when that kid turned around at the end of the tunnel, if he would have slugged Tom Izzo, I wouldn't have felt bad for Tom Izzo because Izzo wanted that smoke. He kept coming after him. And I know he's the leader of that team. He's the leader of men. But when another man's like, just like if any of us, if me and you were getting into it, coach, and you walk away and be like, man, fuck you, I'm going to let you walk away because obviously you're at the point that you don't want to talk no more to me. So you over it at this moment, and me to come back at you, I'm asking to get my ass whooped. Like, I'm just going to be completely honest at that point. When I saw it, it went past basketball. It went to a grown man was like, I'm too mad to have this conversation with you. I'm moving, keeping it moving. And another man ran up on him.
Jason, I want to make sure you know this because you watch me coach a lot. I mean, you come to games and I'm coaching and everything. I know, Travis, you have too. To keep anything like that from ever happening, when I get emotional in football games, somebody make a mistake, you're going to see me either put my hands together like they are right now, cross my arms like this, or put my hands in my pockets, or put my hands behind my back when I'm talking to somebody. But I'm not going to put a hand on them. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not going to yell. I'm going to talk to him just like I'm talking to y'all right now, and I'm saying, okay, I'll tell you what you do. Go over there and sit down and take your helmet off and don't plan on playing anymore. That's what I'm going to tell him. I mean, the bottom line is that I'm like you, Jason. I think at least you say to that kid, be like, listen, I'm trying to coach you right now, and if you don't want to listen, that's fine. But you can't play for me if you don't want to listen to me. That's all you got to say. And if he walks off or does whatever, let him walk off. And then after I'm done. And I mean, because the bottom line is that I'm the coach, you're the player. If you can't listen to me and when I'm trying to help you, then you can't play for me. I mean, it's that simple. So I'm not trying to snatch anybody up. I don't know why he did all that. I'm like what Jason just said. Let him go. If he cannot listen to your words and react to your words, that's what coaching is all about. That's what coaching is all about. So anyway, great clips, guys. I didn't see that at the game the other day. I heard a little bit about it, but never really quite knew what had happened. So that's good to see. Let's talk about Bron. Listen, before we show this clip, hold on, Jay, before you show the clip, because I got to warn everybody right now. It might be a little graphic and whatnot, and you might hear sobbing in the background by Jason because LeBron is Jason's like idol. Jason is like, I mean, we have these arguments all the time. I'm a Jordan guy. Y'all know that. You see, I got my black and red on now. You know what I'm saying? They like this up here in black, man, this black and red. Because Jordan comes up here with me all the time. So they like this up here. So anyway, the black and red, Jason knows I'm a Jordan guy. Jason is a LeBron guy. So before you see this, I'm just giving you a warning. It might be a little graphic. Go ahead, Jay, and show your clip. So this happened the other night. LeBron got hurt, and everybody's saying that this was something that was done intentional to try to hurt LeBron. And I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of difficult to see it in that clip right there, exactly what happened. But out of this, I can tell you, came a high ankle sprain for LeBron. Now, in LeBron's defense, which I very seldom go here, and you guys know that, in his defense, a high ankle sprain, a lot of people say it's almost worse than a broken leg. I mean, it is extremely painful, and it is very, very hard in a lot of cases to right there. See that? See how he kind of went into his leg? Now, Skip Bayless, I wish Jason had the clip on Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was applauding this guy for playing real good defense and whatnot. A lot of people have said, well, with it only being in the second quarter of that game, a lot of teams don't even play good defense at that point in the game or whatever. So there's been a lot going back and forth about whether it was intentional, whether it was not intentional, whether it was a cheap shot, things of that nature. Travis, what's your take on it?
Yeah, so actually this is the first time I've seen the clip. I've heard about it, but I hadn't seen the clip. But I did not see anything intentional. He's going for the ball, and you can clearly see the Hawks defender kind of trips over himself while he's trying to reach in to knock the ball away or get the steal or whatever. And because of that, he falls and hits LeBron in the ankle, right? So I didn't see anything dirty on that. I think if this was anyone basically but LeBron or Steph Curry or, Kevin Durant, this would be a no story. But because it's LeBron, they got to make a story out of it. I think it was just a foul in a basketball play that unfortunately LeBron got injured. That's what I got on this.
Now, before I go to Irv, and I'm glad we got Irv on here because Irv's a real basketball guy. And let me say this to you, Travis. A lot of times, basketball people, they know how to do something dirty without making it look like they're doing something dirty. And I'm going to tell you right now, those guys on that level, they know how to do dirty stuff and not make it look like it's dirty. But I'm going to get Irv real quick, Jason, then we're going to show that clip. Irv, tell me, you see anything dirty there? Can you all hear him? I can't hear him. Jay, we can't hear Irv.
Hold on.
It was me.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so I've seen a lot of dirty plays in basketball, but that wasn't one of them. I had to look at it a few times, but no, I can't put that on him and call it dirty.
Okay, well, tell me why some NBA players are saying that it was.
Why you think? Long story short, it's the guy that got hurt. Now, stuff like this, I've seen a lot worse. Little elbows sticking out to get people undercut. Little foots going out to trip people up.
There you go.
Same thing, and the one thing that happened to LaMelo that nobody's ever talking about, how he injured his wrist. In my eyes, that could have been a little dirty, but it wasn't. That was just he realized he lost the ball. He was going for the ball, and just so happened, Mr. Flop King had his foot in the spot that shouldn't have been.
Not Flop King. You didn't call LeBron a Flop King.
Oh, my bad. Hey, take that off, Jay.
I about to say, because Jason about to shut this thing down.
Hey, y'all not gonna keep disrespecting LeBron out here like this, bro. Look. Irv know, like I know, when you at that level. So LeBron strips the homeboy, and then it's an unwritten rule in the NBA when it's in the regular season. Irv, you know about it too. You don't dive for a loose ball unless one guy already dove on it and you dive second. Homeboy he broke an unwritten rule where everybody's upright trying to get the ball, and he dove. And that's why everybody's looking at it, because they don't want to say it's an unwritten rule unless it's the playoffs in the fourth quarter. You don't dive at the loose ball unless if the guy already dove out and then you dive with him. You don't dive after the second quarter on a regular season game, just because he's trying to show some hustle. Man, fuck out of here.
Real quick.
He tried to make a name. They probably signed him to a 3-year contract after that ankle sprain to keep him in the system, man. Don't be disrespecting LeBron like that.
What you got, Travis?
Go,
Travis.
As someone that doesn't really watch basketball, especially NBA basketball, on a regular basis, right? I'm the non-basketball entity on this show. So we're trying to say that basically every play and every game doesn't matter in the NBA. And if that's the case, then why are we playing 80 million games? Because to me, like in football, every play counts the same, right?
Okay.
So every dribble and every play in an NBA game should theoretically count the same.
Wait a minute, Travis. Travis, you can't answer all them questions and not get an answer now.
We did see that the game was a close, tight game. It wasn't like it was a blowout. So
in the second quarter. and for your record, Travis, and Coach can attest to this. Football has unwritten rules about, hey, don't dive at my knees. Hey, don't go high on me like this in this second game of the season. Don't go at my knees. Coach, am I right or wrong?
You're right, but let me say this to Travis first. Because Travis said, why are they playing 82 games? Because they want money, Travis. They're trying to make money. That's why they play 82 games. Anybody knows that. And then let me ask another question for you. And I want to make sure I understand this. You said that basketball, Jason said basketball has unwritten rules like nobody plays defense at the All-Star game.
Yes, that is an unwritten rule. Hey, look, we don't play no defense till like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, man. Whoever shoots the best winning this game. Y'all don't know these unwritten rules, man?
I'm with you on that, Jay. I'm with you on that, but I had to poke at you there for a second. Jason, go ahead and let's roll this NBA highlight. Oh, no. Do the skip. I'd rather see the skip. Dude, I want you to first look at Skip Bayless's face. He was so upset at that being called a bad, a dirty play. Play that clip, Jason. That is funny. You got it, Jay?
You're going both sides of your mouth.
No, I'm not. Skip,
okay, clean or dirty?
Skip, it was not a dirty play. It was not a dirty play. I'm saying it was unnecessary.
What's the difference?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
Then it's a dirty play. You're saying it's dirty.
Skip.
If it's unnecessary, it's dirty. Like you should have pulled up and not gone for that basketball. That's what you just told me.
Skip.
You just told me that.
Skip.
You can't have it both ways.
Yes, you can.
Go for the ball or don't.
The men's rate of it in a situation like this, the mindset, Skip, that's not a dirty play. He's going for the ball. But my point is, in that situation, 1 minute into the second quarter, you're diving on the floor. How many times have we seen Solomon dive on the floor for a ball?
Well, I don't know. How many times do you watch Solomon Hill?
I watch Atlanta because I like Trey
So do I.
Young. So he's not in the game a whole lot. He's just running around shooting three. But Skip, don't try to do that. Don't try to say, well, you can. It's a dirty play. No, it was a play. I thought it was a basketball play. Now he went about it half-hearted. He just didn't dive on the floor, Skip. You could tell he's going like, I really shouldn't be doing this. And then that's what happens. But my thing is that I don't believe it was dirty because I don't believe his intent going into the situation like, I'm going into the game. I'm going to hurt LeBron. Intent only matters to the person that's committing the act. The person that receives the act is just as injured. It's the difference between murder and manslaughter. Intent matters to the defendant. I mean, the defendant. The victim is just as dead. LeBron James is just as injured, even though Solomon Hill did not intend for the act to happen.
Okay,
Boom.
I'm still not sure I'm getting you on that, but okay. Let me answer the question because I will tell you flat out, not a dirty play. Period. End of story. Well, I'm answering the question. It's my turn now. And I cannot imagine why Montrezl Harrell would sit up there after the game and say that was a dirty play. That's out of bounds for Montrezl Harrell. Solomon Hill is in his 8th NBA season. He has been on 4 teams. This is his 4th team. But he is playing 20 minutes a game for the Atlanta Hawks, averaging 4 points and 2 rebounds a game because he fights on defense. That's his calling card. And if we could see this play one more time, you hit the nail on the head at the end of your soliloquy when you said he starts it by causing the potential turnover. He's the one who knocks the ball out of LeBron's hands. And then 2 minutes, baloney, they don't. They played their tails off the whole way through. And Solomon Hill's job is to go on the floor for 20 minutes a night and play his tail off. Way to go, Solomon Hill. And then I heard Schroeder after the game. I watched his whole Zoom interview, and he was defending Solomon Hill, saying we're in the same draft.
That sounds like me.
I mean, I thought that was hilarious how Skip Bayless lost it. I mean, he just lost it over trying to say that wasn't a dirty play and whatnot. And, you know, all the points were made. We got Irv back. All the points were made that, you know, Jason and Irv were both saying about, you know, whether or not it should have been at that point in the game and that time in the game and this time in the season and all that other stuff. So, in any event, Jay, come on back on here. We're gonna get Jason back on. It's 9 o'clock. We about to shut this thing down. But guys, I just I want to close out the show. I'm gonna give all the stories that we talked about. Give everybody a shot to give a closing remark before we go off the air here. We're gonna start with you, Irv. Let you go first.
Let me see. I just first of all, I apologize for backing out. My laptop has been acting crazy.
And there it goes. And there we go. Closing words by Irvin there. Yeah, I just want to say great show as always, guys. But also, I'm with you guys with Deshaun Watson. You know, I don't give a flying fuck about college basketball. So, and then I am officially in last place in the brackets right now. So, I mean, you know, my season's officially over for college basketball before it even began. And y'all better stop talking about LeBron. Stop talking about LeBron.
No, yeah, good show. Enjoyed it. You know, I love me some college basketball, so I could have talked much more about that. Women's college basketball is going on right now. You're in the second round, but nobody cares. But I am pumped. I will say, let everyone know, I will not be here next week, so I'll see everyone in 2 weeks. But these 3 will stick it in my stead and have a great show, I'm sure. So I'll see everyone in 2 weeks.
Well, my thing is going to Deshaun Watson. I'm just going to give a quick thing about that. That's a bad boy right there. You better look at that's 2.3% body fat, baby. That's it right there. 2.3. That was back in the day. I had to send that to Jason the other day. But let me tell you something. This thing on Deshaun Watson is bothersome to me. I'll be glad when they find out and end this thing because, you know, a lot of us use the term like a corporate lynching. And that's what I think this is going on with him right now. Because it's like I said, it's very difficult to recover from something like this personally as well as professionally. So that's what bothers me about that. So I hope that it's just quickly resolved and gone on from there. I will say this too, just so y'all know, I hope y'all heard that Russell Wilson is asking for Antonio Brown.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I want to save that for the end of the show. So Antonio Brown might be back in the talk. So we'll
Don't
see.
worry. Antonio Brown's washed. Ask Travis. Travis will tell you.
Yeah, he's washed.
Folks, we got to get out of here. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9:02, 9:03 actually. But we got to get out of here. Thank everybody for showing up. We appreciate it. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, Miss Francis.
Straight from the hip.
See you guys next week.
We're